Hello, this is Thomas Harris, and I will be showing you the project 2 for CSCI 4070. Um, Here's my game gallery, and so I'll go ahead and click the link to my game called Dream Voyager. I'll go ahead and go full screen for you. Alright, so as you can see, this is the title screen, and it shows the ways to play. So you have left, right, X, Z, C, and S, and also space bar is how you start the game. And for the first part, I'm going to show you that it has music in the background, but I'm going to turn it down just so you can hear me talk. But there is a soundtrack that I made that I actually used a 8-bit music generator. I just messed around with the beats and made my own music for the game. So that's a little on a personal twist I have. But in regards to the story, so there's going to be 3 levels, and each level is different to the story. The first level introduces basically like what I'm going to be talking about. So my story is about me personally overcoming some of the fears I had in my life. And so my first fear is me being scared of dark places such as caves and then monsters and there's skeletons in the game. The second level, as you'll see, will be the fear of deep water, and the third will be the fear of heights, and I'll explain each of those when I go to each level. And also my story, as you can see, there's an NPC over there, and he's actually representing me as myself and like kind of like talking to myself, but this is a dream, so it's an abstract way of me like telling you about how I overcame my fears, which is me talking myself through them. And so I'm going to go ahead and start playing the game, and I will, when I get to a certain point, it will trigger a conversation. And so I will let you read the conversation. And so basically, what the NPC is getting at is he's here to help you face your fears. So I kind of symbolize this as me like kind of talking through them, and add just a little comedy with the like whole cowboy hat thing, but not really anything crazy. And so after this, the NPC is going to disappear, and so you can move. And you can see you move around. And I'll show you the attacks. There's a flamethrower attack. There's the shoot button, and then there's a charge attack. If you hold down S, it shoots every once in a while, so you can't, in a way, spam it because it's a pretty much one-hit kill. As you can see, those are enemy bullets, and it hit my life, and so that's by 3 points. You can see the health and life stat in the top left, as well as the score. But anyway, so my score goes up, and I did it by 15 for the turret and 10 for the skeleton, and there's also other enemies that are around 7 and 10 scores, and I think one more that's 15, which is like a fish that follows you around. But I'm gonna try to kill this thing. And so here, as you can see, it's a basic platformer. This level just is me going through the cave. In the background, you can see the parallax that I made for this level. So I'm going to go ahead and climb through this level. And I also have mechanics for when you die and game over screen. But for this first part of the video, I'm going to go through each level and explain everything. And then after I'm done, I'll restart the game and show you those different mechanics about the game over screens. And everything that is seen the level I hand drew. The character based it off the sprite from the tutorial, but I gave my personal twist on it and went in and changed a little bit of the skin color and the shirts and the shoes just a little bit, and I also gave him a cowboy hat instead. I didn't add a checkpoint system to this level. It's just when you die, you have to start over. Anyway, so here's the door to the next level. And so I linked it to level 2. So as soon as I intersect the door or touch it, it will take me to the next level. Now you can see there's another NPC conversation. It's the same character. You can go up to him. And click space every time it's for the user talking, so you can go through the animations. So as you can see, starting the topic of my second level, which is my fear of deep water. And this is like earlier in my life. So I've overcome these fears through time. And this is kind of like a representation of how I went through them. So the first one, I just how to be exposed to being dark places over and over again, and just telling myself it's going to be okay. So now, as you can see, I'm about to enter um, the water, in which it introduces the mechanic of swimming. So as right now you have the walk left, walk right, jump, and then in the water you have the swim feature, which you tap X to swim, and it made it when you get close to the surface, you kind of bounce off of it. And here's a new enemy type. It's a fish, and next, similar to the zombie, where when you get hit by it, it does 1 damage. So it also made to where like they hit you, they flip. And here's another enemy type. I call it a smart fish, for lack of a better word. But this fish just will follow your movements and track you down. So I'm going to kill the fish right now. The flamethrower is a constant thing, which is another impressive feature put in the game, because it basically follows the player. And I know this is underwater, but it's a dream, so anything can happen in a dream. That's why I kind of justified a flamethrower underwater. But anyway, and you can tell in the background there's some more parallax. To the right, I made it look kind of like another kind of a cave, but with the parallax, I put like seaweed, symbolize being in deep water. Anyway, make sure I don't die because I don't want to start the level over. But it goes back, it just goes back to the level I'm on, not the level 1 or anything like that. I just made it to where you have to go back to the start, kind of add a little more challenging to it. So as you can see, that's in water, out of water. Because when you're out of water, I'll show you right here, you can only jump, you can't swim. When you're in water, you can tap X to swim up the water. So that's another player mechanic. So I'm going to go ahead and kill these fish. And you can tell my score's gone up for the number of enemies I killed. And I made each score specific to each enemy. So some enemies have higher scores or lower scores than others. That one was plus 10. And the smart fish is a plus 15. You can see the parallax in the background. And so here's the next level, the last level. So I'm going to go into that portal. And now I'm in the sky. And here's another NPC, which is the same thing. Another conversation ensues. And this one is symbolizing, for this level, is my fear of heights and how I overcame that. And he's saying this is a dream, so falls won't kill you. But anyway, he's going to say, okay, fall down and keep going right to the mountain, and then you can wake up. And that's why I basically made this game, is like, if you game over or if you beat this level, you quote-unquote wake up. And I'm going to show you, there's the other enemy type I made. It's a flying bird. I kind of made him look like the Flappy Bird with a top hat, but just kind of goofy looking bird. Same thing with the skeletons and the regular fish. They just kind of go left and right. And as you can tell, the fish are only in water, and so there's no gravity affecting them, and the birds can fly, so there's no gravity affecting them. So you can put it in any spot. And as you can tell in the background, there's parallax with the clouds and the mountain in the sky. And I made it to where the parallax only shows the clouds at the very high points in the game. But I will continue to fall down. So here I landed. So we'll keep going right. Just gotta watch out for enemies. Once again, all the artwork you see in each of the levels was hand drawn by me, including the parallax. I used the dorm tiles from the tutorial just as like a measurement to how to arrange tiles in tile set, but all the things you see in the game, including the little texture lies, I don't know if you can kind of look closely and see there's like itty bitty white and or lighter brown and darker brown squares that kind of make it look like a coarse dirt, and then the stone below it. So I'm reaching the end of this part of the story, and so here we go. And then he's saying, congratulations, you faced your fears, and then you're asking, can I wake up? And then I just added one little fun part you'll see in a second, where I give the player the mechanic to fly. And it also broke the third wall right here, because he'll ask, how do I fly? And he'll say, tell the player to hold down X. And the guy's like player, and he's just like, never mind, just keep going. So he's going to disappear. And so if you hold down X, you can fly now. And here's the mountain. And so we'll fly. It's a pretty big level. But I kind of wanted to introduce a little bit of like kind of roaming around, because you can go back to the whole level if you wanted to and go back to where you started. And as you can see, that's higher you get, the more the clouds appear again. And I can show you down here is another enemy. So like they can still die. They're not invincible. They're one worth 5 points. Anyway, this is the as you just saw, that was the first peak, and here is the second peak. So now we have to go down, fall down. Here we go. We're falling. Here's some more enemies. I just added a little more just towards the end, just so the player is a little bit challenged. But this level is not. I feel like the first level is the hardest level because it mechanics are very limited. So you kind of have to. This one you can just fly through it pretty much when you get a certain point. Anyway, so here we go. Keep on falling. There's the last player, and so this is kind of the conclusion of the story. There's a portal right. It's going to be right to behind this character. And kind of just a little more comedy, but not super going for the jokes. Just kind of keep it interesting. And the guy's saying goodbye, like a journey's coming to close. And so once you go to this portal, you'll quote unquote wake up, or in this case, it'll end the game. So congratulations, thanks for playing. It shows your final score. So I've hit spacebar. It's going to go back to the menu. And so, you know, if you wanted to play again, you can go for a different higher score. And so the one thing I was going to tell you about the game is I actually introduced a couple hidden doors. There's 2 hidden doors in the first level, and then there's 1 in the second level. And there are at certain points, I'll show you one of them as an example, and they will skip the level instead of having to go through the whole thing. And then there's 1 door in the first level that takes you right to the last level, and it's towards the very end. It's a very hidden door. It's not even, you can't even see it. But the one I want to show you, you can see. So anyway, I'm going to go back through here. Navigate through. The hidden door is right here. So you kind of like disappear, then you can see your character again. So it's just a shortcut to the next level instead of having to go all the way through. And I'm just going to skip this conversation because you can do that if you want to. And I'm going to show you the death mechanic. So I died, and then I'll respawn back to the very start of the level. So if I died again. So if I die one more time, it's going to trigger the game over screen. So I'll just die one more time. So game over, it tells your final score, and then you can go press spacebar. It takes you right back at the start. And then, like I said, you can start it again if you want to, or you can stop playing. So as a quick refresher, each of the levels symbolizes the fears that came over. The NPC is the person that it just represents me talking to myself and like talking through things, because a lot of the fears I overcame, like heights, deep water, and caves, was me basically talking myself through them and saying, Kimsey, or saying, you gotta, come on, you gotta get through this. But anyway, that's pretty much it about the game. And the ways that this went past the tutorial is that I added the different like ways the flamethrower shoots, the charge attack, the secret doors, flying mechanics. I also added a kind of like it didn't really work. It doesn't work all the time. It's a little buggy, but I added a kind of a swing grapple thing. I was going to work on the artwork for it, but it just was kind of causing me trouble. So if you go past a certain point, you'll start to fall. So it's kind of like a grapple would, like where you kind of swing into it. So that's another mechanic. But it's not, like I said, I don't think it's really that effective right now. But other than that, that's pretty much how my game works and all the different features it has. And like I said, all the artwork is drawn by me. Parallax is in all of the backgrounds. The main player also represents me with a cowboy hat. I like blue, that's why I gave him a blue shirt. And showed you different types of attacks, so the charge and the regular shoot and the flamethrower. Then you have the dynamic enemies, which is the skeleton, the birds, the smart fish, the regular fish, and then you have the static enemies, which is the turret. He just sits there and shoots at the player. Um, I hope you've enjoyed watching, and I hope that you will enjoy playing my game. And uh, I will wrap this video up. So thanks again for watching. Take care.